Hey guys, this is Aaron Schover and Josh Lucas from Sword, Carolina. We're just going to do a short technique video over today's lesson. We were working on counters to the Versetzen today. So very simply, Versetzen, this is if I strike Josh with an overhowl, and he displaces me, gaining the inside line, trying to set up a thrust or a strike or a slice from here. So this many different types of Versetzen. We're just doing a simple overhowl just to keep things very simple. So what do you do from that situation? Actually, one thing we did last week, working on the Zucken, simple technique from that. If he displaces me, I can do a Zucken by just pulling my point clear of his blade, cutting down onto his arms or his face, either on the, from the same trajectory, or I can take a further step out to the side, cut at his head, or at his body, and end up more defending against myself. Alright, so one of the counters to the Zucken would be to bind against my sword and to my head with the Longsword. So I pull off, he binds against my sword, cuts me in the head or slices me. So very good counter to that. So what we were doing today was actually not the Zucken, but it is something that would appear to your opponent to be a Zucken. So what we're doing from the bind, I'm actually going to pull my sword up as though I'm going to take off, but I'm not. I'm going to stay on the weak and actually cut down from here. So as I'm pulling my sword up to the weak of his sword, I have such a mechanical advantage here. As I cut down, I can really take control of his sword, and there's not much he can. If he stays in this position, there's nothing he can do to stop me from there. So a little bit faster. So let's do that again. Very good. All right. And we did notice we like this a lot better if we keep that cut as vertical as possible. It just felt like we had more power in the bind, as opposed to trying to come in with more of a skirt cow. This felt a little weaker for us. Feel free to experiment. Josh, if you wouldn't do this technique as well, so you can see to the other side. One more time. Okay. So yeah, right now we just practiced this technique where Josh is being static. But if I'm correct in my assumptions where feels like a Zucken to him, if he goes into that counter move from the Zucken, what I do still works. So what we're going to do here, as I pull off, if he's expecting the Zucken and he goes to move to bind against my sword in my head, I actually still end up under his sword, able to cut it to his head, and I'm defended against his sword where he can't cut around to get me. So you can even try. You just can't get around that far without moving around, and that's going to give me trying to do it. So once again, a little faster. Sure. So I'm still ending up in a very solid, defensible position here. So you want to try it from your side? Oh, sure. Yeah. So I came up more vertically here. He stayed underneath my sword. I've got nothing on my side. So very good. Very good. Okay, so now, same scenario, if he does the Versetzen, but he changes the range on it. This technique where I'm pulling up on the weak of the sword is not going to work if he closes in too tightly against me with his Versetzen. So as I cut at him, if he closes in here, we're too close. This technique is not going to work as well. So what we're going to do here is basically a form of schnappen, where I'm bringing my pommel onto his arm and cutting down at his head. So once again, cutting in here. So we'll let Josh do it on his side as well. He's going to be attacking me with an overhowl. I'm closing really tightly with my Versetzen. He's coming in. He's doing a good job of actually shoving my arms down to the ground. And this is also a really good drill that we were doing where your partner actually changes up his range and forces you to choose between these two techniques which one is going to work best. So if I'm attacking Josh, just with an overhowl, he can choose what range he's going to end up in, and then I have to pick the right response. So just like that, you know, and then repeat as necessary. So. Another technique we were doing from the Versetzen was specifically if your opponent was parrying with his hands very high, his sword and his arms raised up very high. This exposes his under openings, his lower openings. So if I attack Josh high, he defends very high, this is opening up his belly and his back. So I can pull off, I can either pull around and cut here, or I can pull off on the same side and cut to his belly here. This is what I was watching Long Point, and also other times. This is the one I see Axel Pedersen using a lot, so we call this move the Swede. So since the manual didn't have a specific name for this, we're dubbing it the Swede.
That's sweet.
Right. Yes, that's sweet. So I'll show the two different options, one with cutting around, and then the one cutting close, because it does not specify that I've seen in the manuals. So Josh's going to defend very high. So I'm going to cut in with either an inter-howl or a middle howl, but I'm stepping back as soon as I can because that way I'll be out of range. So Josh can even follow after me with a cut. But I'm stepping back far so that I'm out of range. So that's one where I'm cutting around, but it's a little slower. I actually prefer this version better where I'm cutting on the same side. And I'm coming in on his belly. I'm exiting out as far as I can with a step and leaving my sword to cover my head. So let's do that again. Let me hit you this time. All right. We got to get it in front of the fans. All right, good. Let's say you do it from your side as well. Sure. So I'll defend that. Good. And on this side as well. Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, Josh, is there anything I'm forgetting, sir?
That's about it.
Okay, that's about it. Just a short, simple, technical video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys rock. Thanks for watching.